Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Kurt on Cougs. Right now we're just going to review everything that's happened leading up to today and everything that's happening today. Big game day for the Cougs. Starting off, going over basketball real quick. BYU men's basketball earlier this week played at West Virginia. Big game there, exciting finish. Some clutch plays, some free throws by Yegor Demon late to give the Cougars the lead, and then Mihailo Boskovic drives to the hoop, gets the N1 to ultimately seal the deal. So great game for the Cougars. A win that honestly is really important for this team, especially as they pursue a spot in the NCAA tournament. With that win and other things that have happened, they have moved up from being the last team in to being the fourth team in. First. I don't know, of the last four in, they're the top team now, according to at least Joe Lunardi's bracketology. So, yeah, big deal for the Cougars, getting that win. And the difference in this game was, in a big way, bench points. Cougars outscored the Mountaineers by 20 in bench points. You had not just Boskovic, but also Catchings and Stewart come in, and all three played very well, hit some big threes, and ultimately, Cougars come out with the huge road victory. Big win for the Cougs there. And so, at this point, they're currently in a good position. At this point, if they win the games they should win, they should have a pretty decent shot to make the tournament. So, that was a really solid win for the Cougars. And, going to do a lot of good for them going forward. Now, jumping over to BYU women's basketball. They did not do as well earlier this week, losing by, I believe it was about 28 against TCU. And biggest issues I realized in this one were, for one thing, got out-rebounded, as well as in this game, Emma Calvert and Lainey Gibb combined for 30 points. The rest of the team had 17. So I guess you could say that TCU just did a really good job just isolating BYU's two best players. Those two went off against them. But other than that, not a lot of production. And I don't know, you need more contributions from everyone if you want to have a shot to, be in more games and be winning more games. So tough loss there. Although the Cougs still at 500, they have a chance today to get above 500, which of course would be a good step, especially for this young team. And so, also, over these last 2 days, BYU has started conference play in men's volleyball, 2-0 with 2 wins at UC Concordia Irvine. That's right. That's what it is. So always good to get those wins on the road. Always good to start conference play with some wins. BYU currently ranked number 7. Of course, trying to get into the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. Just got to keep on winning. And I feel like the Cougars have a pretty good shot. They're one of the best teams in the MPSF, and I could totally see them making a run for a conference championship this year. So, very solid week for them. Also, probably some of the biggest news of the week, BYU Athletic Director Tom Holmoe will be stepping down after 20 years. This guy's done so much for BYU sports, bringing them all the way from Mountain West through Independence / WCC, all the way to the Big 12. Lots of great memories, cross-country championships, big football, basketball wins, some college cup appearances by BYU women's soccer. Just great stuff. And I trust BYU's leadership, though. I think they're going to find a really good replacement for him. Definitely sad to see him go. Funny enough, little story, when I was a missionary, very new to it, when I was actually flying out to Washington, me and my companion were sitting at our gate just kind of waiting, and we saw him walk past, and he wished us good luck. I don't know, didn't get to interact with him too much, but seems like an awesome guy. Guess I always have that fun little story. And so thank you, Tom Holmoe. Dude's done some amazing things. So now moving on to previewing the Cougars games tonight. One for men's basketball, one's for women's. And we're going to dive right in, talk about what they need to do today if they're going to come out with some victories. Starting off with BYU women's basketball, playing against number 20 Oklahoma State. This Oklahoma State team really solid, been playing really well. A team that looks like they could be doing some pretty major stuff in March Madness. So this would be a huge win for the Cougs. Luckily, this one is at home. They have typically performed a lot better at home, so hopefully they can get that win there. And ultimately, for me, the deciding factors in this game. Oh, and once again, kind of what are they playing for here? For one thing, just doing their best to stay away from being at the very bottom of the conference. I'll give them a lot better of a shot once the conference tournament comes around. And as for deciding factors for today's game, I think number one for me has to be rebounding. That was a big factor in why they lost to TCU. And BYU has some good height. They got good players like Alma Calvert and Gillespie and Barber. A lot of players that can go up there and get some rebounds. So if you get them going, then in my opinion, that should put the Cougars in a really good place. And then I'll say as well, just playing consistent. Like, that's something I feel like this team has struggled with this year, is they have played for stretches really well. Even with some of the best teams in the country, they've been right there with them, but ultimately just fall away towards the end. Just let the other teams go on runs, go cold. And so in my opinion, just got to be consistent. And if they do that, I think they can come out with a win. My bold prediction for tonight's game, well, I guess I shouldn't say tonight. It starts at 3 o'clock, at least Mountain State's time. So, yeah. But my bold prediction for this one is I think that the Cougars are going to... Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I think Cougars are going to have 4 or more players in double digits. I feel like they're going to do a lot better job than they did on Tuesday with spreading the ball around. So I think 4 players in double digits. That's my bold prediction there. Ultimately, though, I do think they're going to lose this game. It's really tough to beat these ranked teams. And even though this one is at home, I would say Cougars keep it close. But ultimately, in the end, I think the Cowgirls walk away with this one. Jumping over to BYU men's basketball now. They are playing today against Kansas State, one of the teams that is the hottest in the conference. This game, so important. 2 teams, you could argue this is another game between 2 bubble teams. Kansas State coming off, 6 straight wins, including wins over Arizona, Kansas, and Iowa State. Like, they are on fire. This team earlier was looking not too good, but now they're playing really well. And, very important game for the Cougars. In my opinion, if the Cougars win this one, this puts them in a really good spot for the NCAA tournament. You go into next week, which I would refer to as kind of just, I don't know, not much to lose. Neither of those games would be very embarrassing for the Cougars to lose. At home against Kansas or on the road at Arizona. Personally, I really like their chances against Kansas. But yeah, if you lose both of those, you're probably still in a pretty good position to make the tournament if you win tonight against Kansas State. And then after that, of course, you got... who's the next week? That's right, at home against West Virginia, on the road at ASU. Those are 2 games you should probably win. And then Iowa State and Utah for that final week. So kind of just looking forward through the next 6 games after this one. I see at least 3 games I think the Cougars should win, with those being at home against West Virginia and Utah and on the road at ASU. And I think they also got a pretty good shot against Kansas as well. So winning tonight would give them a pretty good path to get to 20, maybe even 21 wins, which would go a long ways for making the tournament this year. So, very important game, momentum-wise as well. Just getting back on a win streak, especially after losing those back-to-back games last week. So, very important game tonight. And so, for deciding factors, for one thing, looking at this Kansas State team, they have some really good starters. Like, their starting group, really amazing, really good. They are one of the teams that uses their bench players the least. So I would say for sure BYU has superior depth in that one. And that's where my first deciding factor comes from. I think that it's going to be really important that the Cougars test Kansas State's depth. Play fast. Don't use a lot of timeouts. Don't give them a lot of time to breathe. Try to wear out the starters. Make this game physical. Make this game one where, you put your opponents in foul trouble. Because if the Cougars can do this, if the Cougars can take Kansas State out of their element and make them have to rely on their depth, in my opinion, that would go a long way towards getting a victory. And then number 2, both of these teams struggle with turnovers. So ultimately, I believe, though, if BYU can come out on top and be the team with less turnovers, win that turnover battle, I think they got a real good shot at winning this one. And so, yeah, those are my two deciding factors. Just test Kansas State's depth and win the turnover battle. If they do those two things, I am certain BYU will win this game. My bold prediction today for BYU men's basketball is that they're going to win this game by double digits. I think this is a really tough game, but ultimately I feel like this BYU team, they have some momentum. I know Kansas State also has momentum, but BYU at home, I think they're going to use that momentum. And I think this game is close most of the way, but I feel like the Cougars have shown they can come up clutch, especially after Tuesday's game. And so I think late in this game, they pull away and they win by double digits. So, yeah, go Cougs. Yeah, hoping for some wins today.